Alright, it's time for my UFC on Fox Johnson versus Dodson picks. And to begin, I'm going to start by saying in my last video I made some downright horrible calls. Sometimes you gotta eat crow. I said Junior Dos Santos would TKO Cain Velasquez in the third round, and clearly didn't happen. So I gotta admit, sometimes that's the problem of making picks. You take risks. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. When you win, you never get any credit, and when you lose, people just lay the smack down on you. So there you go. We're all fallible, guys. We're all fallible. Okay, with that in mind, let's see if we can do a little bit better for this upcoming card on Fox. I'll take it from the top. Main event, we got Demetrious Johnson taking on John Dodson. Okay, let me do an editorial real quick, and then I'll give you my picks for this fight. I'm not really sure it's the best idea to have this as a main event on a national televised card. Primarily because I know there are a lot of MMA purists that are fans of flyweights. We've seen some good fights. There were some pretty great ones last year with Demetrious Johnson. But for a massive casual fan audience, they're not going to enjoy this. It's because even if they're going 100 miles per hour, the likelihood of a knockout or just a flash victory just doesn't seem likely here. I'm not saying we want to see an automatic 3-second knockout, do like an old school pride fight, but this thing, it just is built, I guess, to be a 5-rounder, and maybe not a really highly competitive 5-rounder at that, but hopefully I'm wrong. I said that now, so it'll be a fight of the year contender. Demetrious Johnson versus John Dodson. Johnson, he's clearly the best flyweight on the planet right now. John Dodson, he's either number 2 or number 3. After watching what Johnson did in the last fight against Benavidez, I'm not really sure Dodson really has anything for him. I think Johnson, he's a very skilled fighter. He's very technical. He's very intelligent. He knows how to control the tempo. He has excellent octagon control. I think he will go in this fight. He probably won't win in a flashy way, but he will win most likely by decision in a fight that is, I think, going to be fairly reminiscent of the Benson Henderson Nate Diaz fight from late last year. So I got Johnson successfully pinning his title, unanimous decision, 5-rounder. Co-main event, Quinton Jackson versus Glover Texieria. This might just be the lock of the year as far as I'm concerned. Quinton Jackson is a guy who clearly does not have a passion for fighting anymore. He's already made these comments about, I want to go into boxing now and just give up MMA. And Glover Texieria is one of the baddest dudes on the planet. You saw that fight he had at the last Brazil card where he just destroyed that dude. Like, just turned him into like a vegetable halfway through the fight. And I think Jackson's going to come in there. He's not taking the fight seriously. And Texieria is just going to unload on him, and we're going to see some brutal. I think this fight really cannot end any other way than a first-round knockout by Glover Texieria. I might even make this my pick of the year. I'm not saying I guarantee it 100%, but let's go 95%. You've seen Zero Dark 30, you know what I'm talking about. Also in the main card, we got Donald Cerrone against Anthony Pettis, which could be a really great fight, but I don't know. I think you look at these two guys. Pettis, he's a really great striker. Cerrone, he's a pretty good wrestler. They both like to stand and trade. Cerrone, he's a tough dude. I mean, he can do some damage. He's got good submissions. But I keep thinking about that one fight he had against Nate Diaz, where he just kept getting jabbed over and over and over again. And I think Pettis is probably a more versatile striker than Nate Diaz. I'm not saying he's better. I'm just saying he's more versatile, as far as kicks and other strikes go. It's a really, really tough one to call. Hopefully it'll be a really great fight. As far as styles clash go, I would give the mild edge here to Pettis, just because I think his striking is a little bit more dangerous than Cerrone's, but it's not by much. I think Pettis ends up winning this one by split decision. Final fight on the main card, we got Eric Koch taking on Ricardo Lamas. If Eric Koch, is it Koch? Koch? Eric Koch. Eric Koch. Uh, I would give this fight to him if it were not for the fact that he hasn't fought in almost a year and a half. So he's definitely got some cage rust on him. Then in my, I think Ricardo Lamas, he's definitely been on a streak as of late. I think he goes in there and he wins this fight, second round, TKO. It's got a feeling. As far as the undercard bouts, we got Dustin Poirier taking on Cub Swanson. And in this fight, I got to go with Cub Swanson. I think he's been on a streak. Poirier, he's a good fighter, but we'll see. Clay Guida taking on Hatsu Haoki. I think Guida wins this one by unanimous decision and will be a pretty boring fight. We got Michael Cooper taking on Josh Janisuk. I got to go with Cooper on that one. Here's a fight I just look at it and I'm like, what is this doing? Like so low on the card. You got Ryan Bader taking on Vladimir Matyashenko. I mean, really, was it like 2 years ago? Both these guys were like top 10 light heavyweights, and now they're fighting. Basically being curtain jerkers on a FX card. I got to go with Bader here. I mean, he's been on a slump as of late, but I think he's definitely a better fighter in just about every category than Vladimir. I think he wins this one, the second round TKO. Heavyweight fight, we got Mike Rousseau taking on Sean Jordan. Another tough fight to call because Mike Rousseau, he's a cagier veteran, but Sean Jordan, he's got that knockout power, and he can just go in there and throw a lucky lob. And Rousseau, we know he can go down easy. I'm just go with Sean Jordan, first round knockout. This got a feeling, just got to run with it. We got Mike Stump taking on Pascal Kraus. Go with Stump. Decision. David Mitchell against Simeon Thorson. So I'm going to go with David Mitchell. And Rafael Natal against Sean Spencer. I'm going to go Rafael Natal. So there you go. It's not. There's some interesting fights. Probably not going to be a card of the year contender. This is one of those really bizarre shows where I'm pretty much excited about everything except the main event. So yeah, expect some knockouts. There might be a really solid fight on the card, maybe a fight of the year contender. I'd say it'd probably be the Cerrone Pettis fight, but you never know. And I don't know, maybe it'll be a pretty decent show. It's the first major one of the year that I'm really excited about. No offense, Strike Force, but there you go. So that's my picks. What you got?